The main goal of our program is to convert the palm oil waste, which is methane gas, to electricity and supply it to the people in the rural area. In this function, I only use printf command to display the sentences.
The gas combustion turbine need time to start for the combustion engine to be ready. Void loading bar acts as the time for the combustion engine to be ready to let the gas flow into the turbine. So as you can see, we use for loop to create the loading bar rectangle shape, and for the loading bar to be in this shape and condition, it is based on the values of char A and char B.
This function is where all functions are called. For the main function, I do all the function calling. Before that, I already define all the constant that we get from our calculation, define all the function that will be used inside this coding, and lastly, making most of the variables to be global variables. To start the program, I start by calling the void intro function. Then, the user will have to press enter for the void loading bar to run. Done with the loading bar, the display was cleared and it will move to void process function. After the input is obtained, there will be several calculations. Next, it calls the void timer function. Move on, I once again ask the user to press enter key to continue the process, and again, display is cleared once again. Lastly, it will call the void final report function to display output.
As you can see, this is all three formula of mole, energy and power. In order to get how much power the turbine gas produces, we need to calculate its mole. Then mole are required to calculate total energy produced before we quantify how much clean power is generated from the turbine. Then after computing our power output, we also added the if selection to tell the user that the collected gas is enough or not to supply power to a home for how much day. According to our research, the typical electricity usage of a Malaysian home is estimated to be 26 kilowatt. So if the power generated is enough, the program will tell the user that those amount of power can light up a house for a decent amount of days. Thus, if it is not enough, the user will be notified that they need to gather more turbine gas via the program.
In this function, firstly I display a statement on how much time needed for the gas to be fully collected inside the combustion engine. Next, I wrote a C processing command to read input from a text file inside my laptop. I place a text file by writing the value of the input, and the code will read the value that I wrote in that file. With the input's value, I can calculate the duration for the gas to be fully collected. After done with the calculation, I tell the users the exact time for the gas to be fully collected, and that also the duration for them to wait.
Void timer acts as a gas sensor for our system. In the gas sensor, there is a LED indicator that will light up if the methane gas is still flowing, and once the methane gas is fully collected, the LED indicator will turn off. Since we do not have a gas sensor, we use a timer instead. The program will read the input, which is the volume of gas, to calculate the time taken for the input to be fully collected by the gas turbine. I use while loop to make the timer works, and printf command to display the statements. Then, the user will have to wait for a certain amount of time until the gas is completely collected. After that, the program will alert the user that the gas has been completely collected.
Our code will display input data, which is the volume of methane gas, and three outputs, which are the number of mole, energy generated, and power produced, which is in the black box. In this function, we use printf command to display all the value on our CMD display. Then, we use the C processing command to store all the outputs in a TXT file separately inside our laptop, which are fprintf. Altogether, there will be 3 TXT files for our output. These are the commands to separately save the outputs, which is in the red box. This is our 3 outputs. This is our TXT file of number of mole. This is our TXT file of energy generated. This is our TXT file of power of electricity.